Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host Matt Marrero along with
Tristan Walter.
And it's been a very long time, and sorry that we've kept you guys waiting. Myself and Anthony Toto. Oh God, how long has it been since I fucking talked to Anthony Sanandris? Anthony Sanandris has been very, very, very busy with college and other work. So generally, he's dead. So we've been unable to do Friday night movies. So that's been done for a while, right? But thankfully, we've been able to bring it back. I don't know if this was the right movie to bring it back to, but here we are doing the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I've never seen this movie until today, and now we're podcasting on it. Yes. I don't know how. I don't know how I didn't, but then eventually it was kind of like, yeah, Matt, this movie's bad from what I had heard. And I was like, all right, not going to fucking say that. And so I never did. But then I thought, you know what? We're going to do, we have to do a podcast, right? At least I was pushing to do a podcast. And you said, Tristan, these magical words. Can you tell everyone the magical words, your opinion about this film?
Well, let me tell you the magical words that you said first. You had wanted to do the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and then I'm like, why don't we do the movie instead? Because, I like watching that movie. And yes, I do like this movie. You can all go fuck yourselves. Now that we've gotten that out of the way.
I would like to tell you all that Tristan did not just say that to our goddamned fan base, you fuck.
I think we said that to our fan base many times before. And,
no.
Okay, so that's my opinion. I like the movie. No, we all love you very
all.
much. Thank you for listening. There you have
That's
it.
all. That's all. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. All right. Okay, everyone, so we're going to end the show here. We want to thank you all for listening in, as always. And, we love having you guys.
We're going to go back to not
in.
having Friday night movies anymore because Tristan keeps fucking everything up. Thank you, everybody.
All right, everyone. I was going to mention that we have some merchandise on our website. Just fucking end the show right here.
I will hang up.
Oh, my God. You would not let me do that. You would not do that because if you hang up, that means that I'm just discussing this movie at length. And you and another Let's Player, friend of ours, Anthony Toto, you would not be happy with me shitting on this movie.
No.
For the remainder of this episode.
But it's funny, Matt. It's like I'm looking into a window into the past. You're me from 2000-something. Well, 2001, 2, maybe. Somewhere in there.
Now, why am I like that? I'm a little confused. Why am I
that? Because the first time that I saw this movie, I thought it was shit. But
okay, so sometimes you have to trust your gut instinct. Oh, I'm sorry.
And sometimes you have to realize that, wow, I was in middle school and I didn't give shit half a chance because I immediately looked at it and went, this isn't Super Mario Brothers, this is stupid. And my friend Anthony Toto, who I was watching it with, was like, dude, give it half a chance. This is actually kind of cool. I'm like, no. And then I did. And then the second time we watched it, I'm like, you know what? You're right. I do like this. This is actually kind of cool and quirky. Yes, it's not the best representation of something, but again, what movie is, well, okay, I shouldn't say that either, but
excuse me.
It has its charms.
Am I gonna have to...
I'll put it that way.
No. Look, I'm going to say it like this. It is a good, in my opinion, a good, if not okay, if not family/kids movie. You get the family together. You get them some nice. You pour everyone some nice bleach drinks, and you're like, family.
I've had that.
You get them the radiation popcorn, and you tell everyone, hey guys, let's watch. No, but in all seriousness though, right? I think that I can show this to a younger child. And at least at the time, I don't know about now with all the new effects. Yeah, now they're just like, this is stupid. This isn't CGI terrible. This is practical effects terrible.
This is Daddy's childhood, and you will shut up and watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel so bad for your kids because you're gonna have me in the corner, just like, nah, you're right. Nah, you're good. See John Leguizamo? Yes, he's
And
like
now-
the good thing.
Uncle Matt was just leaving, and Bob Hoskins was a legend. Fuck
Actually, he was. Actually, no, he was really fucking good. I have to admit, though. Here's the thing. I have to say,
the cast
apparently,
is great.
Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo hated working on this movie and drank every single day they were on set. And frankly, maybe it helped them. I don't know, because I think they seemed really good in these roles.
I mean, they did. They were.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think they were pretty
sorry
good.
It was such a shit show for them, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
did
the reason
enjoy
why
their
they hated it,
performance.
Tristan. Well, here's why they hated it. They hated it because they signed on to do a darker movie. And then literally while they were filming, or like day before they started filming, they were like, oh, here's rewrites. We rewrote the whole movie. Now it's a family-friendly affair. And they were like, what the fuck? So for them, it went from, we're going to do this movie, it's going to be a bit darker, a bit different, to now we're just going to be a nice, happy-go-lucky, children's movie. And they weren't into that. Also, apparently, it was over budget and it was like delayed, where it was like, I think Hoskins said, I was supposed to be there for 6 weeks. I was there for 17.
Wow. Shit.
So, yeah. So shit like that will get to you.
Yeah.
So I can see why they
I can
weren't.
totally understand.
Mm-hmm. However, my thing is this, right? While I think it's a fun movie, it can be fun. Okay, technically, it's rough because, like, people were saying online, like, oh, there isn't a lot of depth to the film, and I have to agree there, but in terms of, like, there aren't a lot of lines, like, there needs to be more, like, development for some characters or for some plots, and I guess I'll give them that, right? It was an hour and 40, and I do think it could have used a little bit more, and also some of the jokes or some of the dialogue was a bit too much, if you know what I mean.
Corny.
Like, if some of those lines were in Power Rangers, you'd be like, Matt, that's so stupid. Where it was just like, see you next fall and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
She
like,
makes
I feel like we
quite
do
an
have to
impression.
acknowledge. Well, that one was actually fucking great. Again, John Leguizamo. John Leguizamo.
Right.
I don't know why. I'm a huge fan of John Leguizamo. I've loved him in Romeo and Juliet. I've loved him in Spawn. I know he's doing something newer on HBO that I haven't seen, but I've seen clips of, and I really enjoy him in there. I really enjoyed his one-man show. So, like, me and John Leguizamo, I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, you're in the movie? I'll give it a shot. Right?
I mean,
one thing.
Bob Hoskins for me was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I adored him in. And I know he's done a lot more than that, but...
Thank you. Okay,
have you been trying to think of that the whole night?
Yes. Also, I have to admit, he was a pretty fucking good Mario.
Hell yeah, he was.
Yeah. Now, my problem, not even from the adaptation point of view, just my problem from a color perspective. So I look at this movie in the same way that I think people look at Power Rangers, right? So you've seen some Power Rangers when you were younger, Tristan? Yes? No? Maybe so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some.
Right? So you remember the original. I assume that's the one you saw.
But possibly.
Okay, so then you don't, like, I can't tell this to you, and you'd be like, yeah, sure, Matt. Like, you have no fucking idea what I'd be talking about, probably.
I mean, you could have told me about it already previous times, considering how many shows we've done and how many times you bring up Power Rangers. Wink.
No, that's not it. No. I haven't. It's just No, it's not even funny. It's just legit. Because it's the idea that the five of them, we're talking about like the original, let's say, right? Five of them walk around, and they're obviously not transformed. They're in regular people's clothes, but they would always have the colors that correspond to their transformation.
Okay.
So it felt really weird to me and out of place that for most of the movie, you barely even saw green and red on the two of them. It just felt off, and it felt like they didn't want it to be a video game movie, despite the fact that it was a fucking video game movie in so many other ways. Yeah. Like, it felt like even though they changed it into a family-friendly movie, it was still just like, we can't give them the green and the red. Now, I know they got it at the end, and those suits look wonderful, but I'm not talking about giving them the plumber outfits necessarily. Heck, they could have just had shittier versions of those plumber outfits earlier, or at the very least, when they're walking around, you give Luigi a green shirt, not a fucking light red one. I was like, go fuck all of you. So that was like one random... No, because like as someone who just liked, because again, green and red are their colors. While many things weren't solidified at that point, like at that point, Bowser was Koopa, right? Princess Peach was Daisy, and the Mario brothers didn't have a last name. That's why it was like Mario. And by the way, now we know that they never have a last name. I don't know what the actual word is called. What? Yeah, Mario. But I don't remember what the actual word is called, but they only have one name, both of them.
Right.
So they're called the
Honestly,
Mario Brothers, but it's not.
The first time I heard that. Like,
no, it was really funny.
What are your
Mario,
names?
Mario?
Mario, Luigi, Mario. How many? I'm Mario.
Yeah.
We're both the Mario. How many Marios are there? Well, there's 3, sir. There's Mario, Luigi, Mario.
Yeah. No, like how many Marios between the 3 of you?
in the jail cell.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Was how many Marios between the 3 of you? And it's like 3. But anyway, so not even like looking at what they did to Toad, right? Not even looking at that. And by the way, the African American woman, she was actually Birdo, like confirmed.
I know I said that earlier as we were watching the movie, but I remember me and Anthony looking into it.
Yeah.
And I feel like at least the color scheme was supposed to be based off of her, but whether she actually is like confirmed wise or not sure.
Okay. So we can confirm Toad. We can at least confirm Toad.
And Yoshi.
Yeah. Oh God, right. That apparently the little dinosaur. It's like Yoshi. Anyway,
that was adorable, and fuck you.
He was adorable, but he's fucking not Yoshi.
He's a dinosaur though, and Yoshi's a dinosaur. He's just not cartoonified. He looks like an actual dinosaur. He still does the tongue thing.
So all right, sure. So you're Alex. You're our best friend, Alex. Why? Because you're a human. You're just not everything that Alex is, but you're a human.
You want to get on to your next point?
You're Anthony Toto. He was adorable. He just wasn't Yoshi. He didn't say Yoshi even once.
Would you have rather seen someone in a green fucking Barney suit going Yoshi, Yoshi, Yoshi the entire time?
In a fucking heartbeat.
I will end you.
Also, to be very fair, I'm not saying I hated the CGI. He just didn't look like Yoshi. Like, I didn't realize it was Yoshi until you were like, that's Yoshi. And I'm like, oh, shit, really?
They even call him
Never
Yoshi.
even. What?
They call him Yoshi in the frickin' movie.
How many times? Like once?
At least 2 or 3.
I really don't remember them. Huh.
Yeah,
and that's actually a point when I truly was paying attention. I just don't remember. I'm being very honest with you. Huh.
It's okay, Matt. Everyone is going to be siding with you anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No. Again, look, you and I had this discussion before the show, and I think we might have to, have basically those guys Civil War tiff right now. Look, I'm not saying that the movie is the worst thing ever, right? As a movie, Dragon Ball Evolution, something that I hope we talk about in the future, Dragon Ball Evolution was worse.
Body.
So you're telling me you don't want to shit on that movie for 8 hours? We only have 2 hours on the show, but we'll go for 8.
I know.
What?
It's so bad I don't even want to take the time to shit on it. Because it doesn't deserve it.
Oh, God, Yep. So it's a bad movie, right? Arguably, in terms of being a movie, it's worse. Evolution is worse than the Super Mario Brothers movie. But in terms of being an adaptation, in the sickest of ways, Evolution's just better. Again, as an adaptation,
I still don't agree with you on that.
I don't understand why you don't agree with me on that. In terms of adapting characters and adapting settings. Now, am I saying that it's a good movie? No. In fact, I think it's terrible how they took, certain things and just kind of cut them out and just put them all together in a way, right? But at the same time, they adapted some scenes in a way that, are not similar into how they just adapted the Super Mario Brothers movie. Where it wasn't even, literally, you could have changed some of their names. If you changed some of their names to Mario Brothers movie, it would basically just be a different movie completely. I would never think of it as the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Okay.
And I know that we've sort of felt that way about Dragon Ball Evolution, but if they changed all the names, with the Ozaru at the end, the giant ape and everything, we'd be like, and with King Piccolo and everything, we'd be like, wait, is this fucking Dragon Ball? But I would not look at these characters and be like, wait a minute, this is Super Mario Brothers, and that's Bowser, and that's Princess Peach. It's no, Princess Peach was an archaeologist. A great character thing for the movie, but not anything related to what she actually is in the video game. She's just a princess. Which, believe me, I'm not saying that she shouldn't have depth, right?
Yeah.
But it's still not the video game. That's what I'm saying. But you and I can both agree, better movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The angle that I would come at it from the comparison, though, is that Dragon Ball Evolution had characters that were fleshed out and set to be a certain way. Costume-wise, character-wise, what they do. With the Super Mario Brothers movie, it's still very vague how you would actually write a character for them. You have certain names and some certain places, and yes, they took a lot of liberties with what they did with those names and places, but I still think they at least put an interesting spin on it. And
And the interesting spin is what makes it a good movie.
The bastardization of everything that I ever loved.
No. But that's what. Here's the thing. But the interesting spin is what makes it a good movie, not a good adaptation. Do you see what I'm saying? Putting Goku in school. Yeah, putting Goku in school is not the same to me as making a Dino Hatton.
I mean,
wasn't it called Dino Hatton?
I don't know if they actually had a name for it.
No, I know they had a name for it. I just don't remember if it was
for the longest.
No, it was.
I thought it was just they dropped the name Mushroom Kingdom, but whether that was the actual name, I think it was just Koopa City at that point when he took over. But I mean, it's funny. I had said before, the city is kind of this, dystopian Manhattan feel to it, and it's that's kind of weird at first. Yeah, it's not the Mushroom Kingdom kind of thing. But I thought they at least had an interesting premise where, yeah, the city's like this, not just because, it's dystopian, it's cool, it's the late 80s, 90s, of course it's going to be that way just because that's the thing that's cool at this time. No, the actual rest of the planet was destroyed by the asteroid impact. So that city is the only actual inhabitable place on the planet in their Earth and their dimension. I know, they made it a little weird with the asteroid strike, and God knows I would have so many other problems with that if this was actually a dinosaur movie.
Well, please understand. Please understand. Again, none of that is the reason why I'm sitting here and because again, I'm saying everything you're saying. You're and it was so interesting. I'm no. That's why I said it's a better movie than Evolution, right? Because again, you're but there's all this cool stuff, and they went into depth here, and I'm yes, that's why it's a better movie,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, if I made a movie about your life and I was like, hey, you know, we're just going to have ninjas and shit. Now, that could be, it will always be, doesn't matter what I fucking do to that movie, it's always going to be fucking better than Evolution. But will the ninjas be a good adaptation of your life? At this point, no. Do we hope for more ninjas in the future? Yes. But at this point, no. It would be a terrible adaptation if I would just included ninjas and giving you a robot girlfriend. Like, no. Those aren't real. Like,
okay,
you have a girlfriend, but as far as we know, she's not a robot.
As far as we know. If I have to really...
Is she?
I guess if I have to actually boil
Are you
this
a
down...
robot, Sabrina? What?
Oh, God. If I actually have to boil this down, I guess it comes to more of... I can't bring myself to say it. You're right in the point that you're making, but I cannot allow myself to let Evolution have any points over anything else whatsoever because of what it is.
Well, no, because here's the thing, right? This is what speech and debate experience has given me, right? I've now used my powers for evil. I'm fucking Vader. Anyway, I'm a Sith fucking apprentice. Anyway, Anthony Toto, who, by the way, wants to tell everyone hi. We are recording this at like 2 a.m, so he is not awake. He has, quote-unquote, work and responsibilities. Fucking asshole. Anyway, so he has to be asleep right now because he has to be awake really early. He wants to say hi. He also, like you mentioned, loved this movie when he was a kid, and he tried to make you give it a chance, and clearly he's brainwashed you or something. I'm kidding. Again, I enjoy the movie as well, somewhat. I know, you said you hate me, I know. But anyway, but he did say something like you said, where he was like, hey, you know, at the time, they didn't have much to adapt anyway, because it was just a video game series, and, you know, we didn't even have, you know, like I said earlier, solidified names for, like, you know, I mean, we had Koopa for fucking Bowser, and we had Daisy for Peach. So, you know, this was very early in the games. I would just say, then don't fucking make a movie about it, despite how popular it is. But still, you know, of course, it's money. Why the fuck wouldn't you make a movie out of it? But my thing is, I think, is that, you know, 2 things. One, I still think you could have made it a fantasy movie. Like, you could have made this a fantasy movie in a fantasy realm. And it, you know, and you didn't have to include any of the, despite the fact that they were great sets, you didn't have to include them. Like, oh, and by the way, another thing, too, I want to mention. The movie was rewritten while they already had the sets built for the previous movie they already had written.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that they had to cut out and then work around and rewrite completely. So, yeah, it was kind of a shit show.
Yeah, in that regard. But anyway, look, man, I'm just like, Anthony Toto was right, you know, and like you said too, pretty much, they didn't have much to work with, and they technically had more to work with Evolution, and that's your point. They had more to work with and fuck up in Evolution. I'm like, yes, but they still had a very basic premise they could have expanded upon, and they didn't expand upon that basic premise. They made their own premise.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they were going for more of they were going for a sci-fi action, which was kind of odd, but I suppose
because if they had done like a fantasy
ground at the time, so but it could have been more of a fantasy setting, yes.
Yeah, but now again, right? Why am I not completely shitting on this movie overall? Right? Why am I not like just decrying this movie, saying it's the worst piece of cinema ever made? Because not only have we seen Dragon Ball Evolution, but I do feel like this movie can be enjoyed by some, you know. Now, people are saying online, oh, there's a, you know, flimsy plot. And again, I think I've said earlier, I get it. I do think that there should have been more dialogue. I do think that it was, you know, even though it was an hour and 40 minutes, it still in some ways felt very short, right? But I don't know. I do think it was fun. Maybe it's because of, you know, giving Luigi this, I believe in the, you know, paranormal activity kind of thing. So he was, in a way, very much a good foil for Mario, who was very much grounded.
Right.
And didn't want to take any shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just didn't want to take any shit. I think that they were great together, you know, as actors and as characters. I think that it was great giving Daisy, i.e. Peach, something to do and not just be some random heroine that needed to be saved. Yes, she did, but she still was powerful and strong. I think having her somewhat have a romance with Luigi was great. However, of course, the romance was extremely, like I'm not going to say paper thin, but when I say thin, I mean I think of it more like it's just dialogue that could really only work in a kids movie. Where it's just, you want to get into my brother's rickety van? We're only in New York. Okay.
Yeah. No, I will definitely agree with that. Like love stories are, unless you actually give them actual reason and time, are never put together well.
I really did love Mario interacting with his girlfriend, though, the one that got kidnapped first. I think they were just great. Like, they were just like, we're getting these two together.
Yeah. Daniela, right, that was her name.
Daniela, thank you. I really enjoyed their interactions because they were just a lot of fun. Overall, I do it's so interesting that the characters were like, we drank ourselves into a stupor, but it really felt like they were doing the best that they can. Like, it shows how good of actors they were, in my opinion. Like, even, I will admit, not every line was 100% perfect, obviously, believe me. But I have to admit, even some of the ADR, and I say ADR as like the voiceover dubbing, like basically when you don't see them on screen, most likely, like let's say they're in a car, right? And you're seeing the back of their heads and they're talking. Most likely that was dubbed over later, right? The dub over work wasn't bad at all, in my opinion, from either Leguizamo or from Hoskins.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were both.
I think it was Dennis Hopper. Yeah.
Yes, Dennis Hopper. Yes, as Koopa. Yes, he was a very interesting Koopa because also, there sort of isn't much to do at that point. I mean, you would think that he would be more like, ha, 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 ha. But they were more like, no, let's do slimy businessman lizard. Slimy lizard businessman. And he was interesting. I think the two that could have stole the show, and many times when they were in a scene they stole it, were the two henchmen.
Right, Spike and Iggy.
Thank you. Yes, Spike and Iggy were a fucking lot of fun to say.
And they took names from Koopalings from the games for them, so there's that reference or cameo, whichever you want to call it.
By the way, is that confirmed?
I mean, those are their names, and if you play any of the later games in the Super Mario series, you will see Koopalings. Bowser has Koopalings, and they're mini bosses, and each of them has names, and two of them are Spike and Iggy. So.
No. I know. I'm only asking because I want to know when they appeared. Simply because those were their American names, not their Japanese names, right, for the Koopalings. Right. And I want to know when this movie came out versus when they came out. So I'm just curious about that. Let's see. They came out.
They might have come out later than this movie. Oh, no?
No. This movie came out. I mean, I don't know when the movie started filming, but they came out in 88. So the movie came out in 93.
Right, okay.
Which, by the way, I have to say, not a big fan of the opening narration because it felt lazy as fuck. Like, how do we explain this to the kids?
That was one of the things that they had to cut out and redo and just did a shitty, cover up for it.
Yes, that's how I feel. Where it was just like, how do we do that? I don't give a fuck. That's one. Two, I want to mention, just the fact that they cut, too, they were like, X BC years ago. Now, 20 years ago. I was kind of like, all right, when did this movie actually come out? Like, I had to think, okay, when did this movie come out? So I had to look up. I was like, okay, 1993, 1973. Okay, got it. Right? Because I had to sit there and be like, okay, now I have to, because when you start telling me, present day, 20 years ago, now I actually have to sit there and think, when did the movie come out?
Right.
I have to, look this thing up.
I mean, it's funny.
But yes.
I mean, not funny, but, it's tragic, but, I mean, Daisy's mom was kind of a hero if you kind of think about it. Like, you know, the king, her husband, has been turned into fungus. She runs away and steals the only piece that Koopa needs to basically take over the dimensions and saves her daughter with it, you know, at the same time.
Yeah.
Granted, it's assumed that she's killed by Koopa, but, like, I don't know. I thought that was cool. Like, she didn't really get much of a character. You only saw her at the very beginning, but she still has something to her.
Yes, most definitely. One thing I want to mention, apparently the film was nominated for 2 Saturn Awards, one for Best Costume and the other for Best Makeup. Now, my thing is, I was a little frustrated, and I felt like it was a little lazy, I'm assuming, you know, budgetary issues, that every single person in Dino Hatton didn't look like they were part dinosaur or lizard. Now, I know they've evolved, but it felt like it was kind of like, oh, no, don't worry. They have scaly skin, like, underneath their armpit. You just can't see it right now.
Right. I mean, I laugh because all I can think of is Homo reptilia from Doctor Who. But, like, you know, making the comparison, it's like, yeah, they should look more like, you know, lizard-like, reptilian-like, dinosaur-like, but they all just look like people. But, yeah, I'm assuming
minus
that would have been... Yeah.
Yeah.
That
by the way, would like to mention
more to the budget.
Oh, of course. And by the way, I've called it Dino Hatton after I told you it was. It is confirmed. It is called Dino Hatton.
Okay.
Yes. Take that as you will, Internet. Just raging even further. But take that as you will, Internet. So yeah, I like the sets. I felt like at some points they were a little bit too dark and a little bit incomplete. Where, like, when they were falling in the cave, or when they were in one of the, like when they were turning off the heat for the, you know, for the lair, in some ways I was like, you're not a fully complete set, but it's dark everywhere else, so it's okay.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to admit, though, you know, mentioning, because you and I have mentioned, like, Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo bringing a lot to this movie. I mean, just Hoskins going, like, you know, oh, so you wanted the tunnel? Oh, but then you took the bridge. Okay, so which way do we go here in the desert? Oh, left or right? All right, which way are we going to die?
Yeah.
I was like, it's like, where are we going to die? I was like, all right, this is actually kind of funny.
You know, which way do you want to die?
Yeah. Oh man, like I have to admit, like I really do think that they brought something to this movie. I really do think that they did. Oh my God. But yes. So anything you want to mention? Anything you want to mention before we end the show? I'm kidding. Anything you want to mention?
I mean, okay, I guess if there are 2 things that I have to really pick out that still bother me to this day about the movie.
Something bothered you? I would have never known.
Well, I think you can guess what bothers me, and I even mentioned one of them earlier, but okay, the fact Daisy's an archaeologist, I think that's what they had said at one point, and she's digging up dinosaur bones. That's not right. That's not what archaeologists do. That's no.
Right.
No. It's paleontology. It's not that hard to pronounce, people. It's not that hard. Please.
Yeah.
I know this was 93, but Jesus Christ.
I have a question
and the other thing, yeah.
Oh, no, you first. Sorry. Tell me what you don't like.
Well, was the question in regards to that?
No,
archaeology
no, not at all.
Paleontology? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all. I totally care.
And fuck you too.
Hey, no, it's to be fair, I've made the I've like accidentally mixed the 2 up, or I mixed the 2 up as a joke, and you've corrected me, understandably so, because this, you know, it's what you do for a living.
It's my profession.
Mm-hmm.
I don't question your profession.
You just come on the show and you shit it up. Nah, you've been great. I love you. To be fair, you can't do this worse than I would be if I was doing your job. No, I mean just doing your job. I would fuck up your job royally. You're great at your job.
I mean, I don't have a job, but when I do get to do some of the things that I want to do that I've done sort of as never mind.
No, I know, but I'm just trying
to take the
You've gone to dig
compliment.
sites. You've gone to dig sites. You've dug things.
Yes, I have.
What do I dig? I dig
I
myself into really bad holes on podcasts.
I thought you were going to say plot lines, but that works too.
There we go, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, what's the second thing that you despise about this film when you agree with me completely?
I mean, the only other thing that I don't like, and films and cinema and a bunch of other mediums still get this wrong too. You know, the myth that people say, Koopa makes the joke like, what are they descended from? You know, mice or, mammals or whatever, humans. And he's like, from apes, sir. They're monkeys. It's like, okay, A, apes and monkeys, two different things, and B, no, we did not. We have a common ancestor. We didn't come from one another. But that's a whole nother can of worms.
Are you trying to say that evolution doesn't exist?
I will murder you in cold blood, and I will post it on the internet.
And you want to know why you're able to do that?
Why?
Because you have opposable thumbs.
I swear to God, Matt. Swear to God, you better. Everyone listening, you better say goodbye to Matt now because this is going to be his last cast. No, like
everyone needs to know. I've invited him over to my house to film. I'm never going to live past that night.
Nope. Your next filming will be your last. Because it's something that so many people get wrong because of misinformation like that. And having your profession in it, like you learn to get used to it, but by the fifth time you have to explain it to somebody, and usually to someone who doesn't give a shit or just wants to say it the way they want to say it, it kind of hurts a lot.
I would argue I'm sorry to interrupt. I would argue it's not even just that. It's also because of the fact that, teaching us things as kids, we never want to get into the nitty-gritty. And I understand why we don't want to talk about slavery or something really, heavy. Let's talk about American history in depth to 5-year-olds. I understand why we wouldn't talk about some of the nitty-gritty stuff. But, in explaining evolution, the schools that do in America, right? In explaining evolution, it's just weird. I think it's just the fact that, you're told directly, we come from monkeys. Even if it's no. We descended from. It still makes you think. So we came from. I'm a descendant of my father. You know what I'm saying? You think, it sounds like you're I came from. It's no, not like that. But it's never really corrected.
Not
or
like
you're,
that. Right. Until later, and then by that point, it's already ingrained in your mind. No, we came from them. It's no, God damn it.
It's at that point where you're just screaming at a guy who says that, and you're screaming at him. You're so are you saying that Super Mario Brothers is a good fucking movie? And then you get into fights.
I mean, they, even with dinosaurs, they're not strictly reptiles. They are their own set of species and, genera and family. But people still put reptiles and dinosaurs together. Granted, they're close. Yeah, they kind of look similar, but not the same thing. And, they make reference to that in this movie, too. And granted, okay, again, it's 93, and it's a movie, so I'm not going to tear into it too much for not being scientifically accurate. Hell, even Jurassic Park isn't scientifically accurate, and that's the movie that everyone goes to be like, hey, look, this is paleontology, this is what makes it amazing, blah, blah, blah. At least the very beginning of the movie before the park goes to shit. But people still love that movie.
Yoshi didn't have wings. 3 out of 10. Yoshi didn't have wings.
Fuck you in the ass. Okay? All right? Anyway.
It'll hurt less than this film did. You take that to the bank and smoke it. I think I mixed up two different. I think I mixed up
You
two
know
different.
what? I might.
You take that to the pipe and bank it. Nope, still not right.
And
I'll get it. No, I'll still get it. I'll get it
Okay.
eventually.
You want
I'll
a
get it
minute?
eventually. I'll take a
Oh.
minute to reflect on what you just said and how it will
Okay.
not hurt as much as this film. How fucking dare you?
Oh,
So here's
okay.
something. I have a question for you. How would you have felt with Danny DeVito playing Mario? I got a worse one for you. As much as I love this man, I got a worse one for you.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks.
Oh no. Oh no. I mean, I love him too, but no.
I have the best King Koopa, by the way. I think better
God.
than Dennis Hopper. And you're going to disagree with me. And I'm going to have to fight you for this. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Holy shit.
Oh, so wait. So are you on for this or are you against this?
No, that would have been terrible. But it would have been
Fuck
so
you.
bad. It would have been hilarious.
Fuck you. That's literally the physique I imagined for Bowser.
Yes, but that is not the voice I imagine coming out of his mouth.
Well, would you have rather Michael Keaton? I think Schwarzenegger wins this round.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, the pesky plumbers. I'm going to kill you. Oh, God.
De-evolution. He says the de-evolution a lot. De-evolution.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
I
gotta admit, though,
with all
I can
my
imagine him
qualms
crushing them.
Yeah. With all the qualms with, how they spoke about evolution in this, the de-evolution guns and the machine actually was rather terrifying. Granted, again, that's not how evolution works, but it was still a rather terrifying process, and that he did this to people. But it was also kind of fitting that that's how they finish him off in the end too. They rewind him so far back that he turns into primordial ooze, which was pretty, I don't know, like even when I was younger and even to now, I still think, wow, that was kind of gruesome in a way. Like not gory, but like, I wonder what that felt like. Actually, I don't want to wonder what that felt like.
Yeah, right. Actually, I rescind that comment. Please, no. I would prefer not. Thank you. My God.
And I love how, like, you had said that they rewrote it to make it a more family-friendly movie. And yes. It is more family-friendly. But Koopa does threaten to kill a lot of people.
93 family movie.
I mean, Iggy and Spike, Mario, the brothers, everything like that. But he's like, I'm going to kill them. It's like, you really, you don't hear that, these days from a villain in a family movie kind of thing anymore.
Oh, that's true. No, I'll give you that. That's why I said 93. Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yeah. And I kind of love that Spike and Iggy, even they, reference, it's like, they lost Daisy again. One of them goes, oh, he's going to kill us. And the other one turns to him and says, he isn't that nice. He's not going to kill us. He isn't that nice. And it's like, no, he's going to fucking de-evolve you into fucking Goombas.
Oh, I thought it was more like he's going to torture.
Yeah, well, honestly, I would think that is the quite hefty form of torture. He turned the original king, into fungus. That's, wow. Like,
yeah.
Going from the sentience of, whatever, granted, the sentience of a human being, because at this point they're kind of on the same level, even though they're not humans, but same idea, to the sentience of fungus.
Yeah.
That's, wow. That's kind of terrifying if you actually think about it. And granted, I guess you could argue that maybe he still had his consciousness because he was trying to help the brothers out. Even Luigi says, the fungus is trying to help us. It's like, Mario, look at it. He's like, oh, next you're going to be talking to the mold in the pipes.
Yeah, I know I made a joke to you before we began the show, but I have to be serious. I'm really upset that they didn't grow larger because of the fungus. I'm going to be real with you, man. They should have grown larger because of the fungus. What the fuck?
I mean,
that's the one thing everyone wanted.
I get the feeling that probably would have been considered a drug reference. I know that's not
and it was
how that works, but...
No, in Japan it was a drug reference.
Oh, well...
Well,
then
not so much
I
a
see why they
drug,
didn't put that
but
in
in terms of... Well, sorry everyone, this is the movie you're adapting. And besides, not drug like, oh, let's take drugs. More so like the mushroom, when eaten, does make you hallucinate and makes you think that you're bigger.
I mean, granted,
but guess what, everyone?
Mario
Sorry.
did use a mushroom to shield himself, at least. So he technically did use a mushroom, just not in the way that it's portrayed in the game.
Grow big or grow home. Wait, no.
And granted, you know what's really
one.
creepy about that? If you actually read the original Mario Brothers, game guide that came with it, those are supposed to be toads that you pop up. The mushroom that you free from the block and that makes you grow bigger. Yeah, apparently you're eating a toad. Well, it doesn't say you're eating it, but yeah. Just think about that for a little bit. So, Matt, please tell me, would you have rather seen Mario, chewing on Toad's head and, growing larger from consuming him?
I think Mario just ate Daisy's dad. I don't know how that works. I'm just... Is they okay? I hope they're okay. Oh, how'd you feel about the after-credits scene?
Oh, the sequel hook?
Yes.
Yeah. No, for a movie, I thought that was, it's a cheesy way to really, say, hey, we're having a sequel, but it's kind of funny. Me and Anthony and another friend of ours, we actually, I know, they did it before it was cool, right?
Yeah. Fucking super hipsters.
We actually found a comic that was written online, and I think they actually got the blessing from some of the writers for
it was
this
made
movie
by
to
them.
Oh, well...
It was, it was made by the writers, yes. The Wikipedia list, it was made by the writers. So, yeah, they actually made a webcomic that continues this that I have not read because I wanted to just take all of this in.
Yeah. I actually read it again tonight. They actually got further than the last time that I looked at it, which was a few years ago. I was kind of happy with that.
Oh.
The comic gives it a little more depth. It's kind of nice.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Then I guess I should have read that then. Well, I mean, I'll be reading it after, at the very least. I'm sorry to interrupt, by the way. Not interrupt, sorry to clarify. It's Stephen Applebaum and Ryan Haas, and they teamed up with 10 of the original film's writers.
Right.
That's what happened. Yes, thank you, yes. So, I mean, technically it is still the original writers, but not only. Also, this film was big enough in the UK to actually get a Blu-ray release in 2014. Somehow they have it, and America doesn't. I don't know how that works. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, not sure either.
That's just hilarious to me. I'm just like, wait, do you have to do you have to make Kickstarter for that? Like, what do you do for that? Like, who do you talk to be like, we're putting this on Blu-ray?
Who do you talk to actually get that to happen?
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I really thought that, just thinking about the actors again, seeing them in action, what? I really do think that they were just, really funny. The only problem is, not the only, that's funny, my own problem, just part of the list, is what they did to Toad. Like, you couldn't have done something. Granted, I'm not saying I didn't like that version of, I liked him as a character. It's just, again, the whole idea of an adaptation. Like, what did you do to Toad? Why could he not have just been, a small dude? Get Danny DeVito to be Toad. What are you doing?
Oh, God!
You'd have been a fucking great Toad.
Oh, God.
The best Toad. We don't deserve that, Toad. We don't deserve that timeline.
God.
But yeah, I feel weird about it, man. Not having just having that version of Toad. How do you feel about that kind of Toad?
I mean, I guess it was basically they used Toad. I mean, he was likable enough, and they used the name to get you to be like, yeah, this is a character that you know and that you kind of enjoy. It's like he was the only one they could quote-unquote kill off and have it kind of affect you and still see that, yeah, Koopa kind of means business. He's evil. Like, he will hurt everyone if they don't beat him here kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were going for, basically.
Right. And I will admit, it was nice that he quote unquote served the princess. I was like,
yeah.
I see what you're doing there. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But so is there anything that stuck out to you that you really enjoyed? Like sit there and you go, honestly, I love this from the film.
Yeah, there were. What was it? 2 lines. One of them is actually, I'm pretty sure this was Anthony's favorite line in the whole movie, was where Koopa, finally figures out where Mario and Luigi are and Daisy are when they reunite at the end before they fight him. Before that, he's watching them on the monitors and he orders a pizza. And then he finally goes to, Koopa holds him at gunpoint and goes to stop them. And over the walkie-talkie you hear, "Sir, your pizza's here." And he's just like, "Not now." And then they come on again. And it's like, "Sir, the Goombas are dancing again." He's like, "Oh." The Goombas dancing was probably the funniest thing to me. Like when Mario and Luigi are in the elevator and then Goombas start pouring in, they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" Mario's starting to panic. Luigi's like, "Let me do this. I'll improvise. Don't worry about it." It's like that was one line that Luigi had. Improbable, unlikely, but never impossible. Nothing is ever impossible, Mario. But the fact that he just stands behind the Goomba and starts swaying it back and forth, and it's just contagious between all of them, and to the point where they're all dancing arm in arm together, and the captain sees this, and he's like he doesn't say anything, obviously, but he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they're all, right, let's go.
Because they're so stupid.
Exactly.
They're just so stupid.
It was so hilarious. Like even the first time I watched the movie, and I didn't like it because it wasn't that adaptation that I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But it grew on me. Like I liked what they did with it. I liked the way that they went with things. It was different.
At the very least, I would watch.
Even then, I was laughing at the Goombas dancing back and forth. Like that was still funny, no matter what. Yeah,
I have to say I would watch a buddy movie with fucking Dennis. With fucking John Leguizamo. Not even as Luigi, just in general. It's the way that John Leguizamo reacts Bob Hoskins with as Mario. Just like the brother dynamic they had was just really fun. Like the way he's just talking for him and things like that, and it's just I really enjoyed it a lot.
Because they actually feel like brothers, It's like, really Mario's the older brother. He's the responsible one. Luigi's the younger, kind of, dreaming kid.
Yeah.
But, he's still there for Mario in a pinch, and, Luigi still has something to teach Mario, even though he's the older one. It's like, sometimes you do just got to believe, kind of thing like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say, though, really weird way to introduce them, especially him on the couch with the hat and everything. Like, I think it was I liked what he was watching because it really showed his character off for the entire film. Like this, like I said earlier, the guy that believes in, the paranormal stuff and everything. But it was still a weird way to introduce them. And then, it's so interesting to see that this movie was an hour and 44 minutes long, yet I still feel like it was an hour and 20-minute movie at the end of the day. Like, it still needed an extra 20 minutes, I think.
Right.
Which is weird to say. Because, I never really say that about a movie. I'm like, hour 40? Great, that's what you need to have it at. Not an hour 20, hour 40, maybe close to 2 hours, maybe. But like this is a movie where I really wonder, like whatever, I don't know what was on the cutting room floor, but I think it needed to be put in.
Right.
You know, at least if it was dialogue or like anything building the two up before shit gets real.
Yeah.
Because like this movie had a weird way of making shit get real fast, but then still be real in terms of like, oh man, there are these two that are going to kidnap her. Oh darn! But like that's introduced in like 5 minutes, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? You're like, well, okay. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, they're in this world, and you're like, you still have like an hour and some odd left. What the? You have like nearly like an hour and 20 left, and now they're in the world. And then halfway through the movie, you're like, did they just kill Bowser? And they didn't. They kind of got him, or Koopa, and you're thinking, oh, he's going to become more reptilian and more evil, and then he kind of doesn't necessarily. And you're like,
right.
Oh, okay. Did you guys just fucking drop that or something?
I mean,
like
I was
in
glad
the chair.
that they did have that transformation at the very end.
Yes. That is true. But it's still, I still feel like it was leading up to more. You know what I mean?
Right. And
yeah.
he still was shooting fire at you. He was just using a flamethrower to do it.
Right. That reminds me of Iron Man 3 with Killian. It was just like, seize the Mandarin. Like, the Mandarin was literally a fucking dragon at that point. Like a dragon. Well, I mean, he's shooting fire. Sort of.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so
and
what?
let's not forget everybody's favorite hit single. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody wants to dinosaur.
Jesus Christ. It was done in a way that I didn't even realize it was the song, though. Like, I didn't even realize it was the song. And I was like, wait, what?
How did you not hear that?
I don't know why. I maybe I was writing notes. I think my brain was just like, nah.
Out. I think you were just so checked out.
Oh, and I feel so bad about being that checked out. Because I actually want to experience this movie for all it is. So I have a question for you. How did you feel about the two henchmen becoming smarter? And then there's a reveal that they were working against Koopa all along? Like, I'm confused. Like, do you think they were working against him even in their stupidity, or they, like, made themselves more stupid or something? Or he made them more stupid?
No, I think it was more of he tried to boost them so they wouldn't screw up so much, but then they kind of realized, wow, our cousin is a fascist. We probably shouldn't, help him out.
No, but they were
like,
no, but not. That's what I thought at first.
They even
but then
said,
they talked to Daisy, and then they were like, "We worked with your father a long time ago." And I'm like, "Wait, what? How did you just remember this?"
I feel like that was more of them just trying to save their asses at the very end. I really don't think there was anything to that. I think they were just trying to be like, "Yeah, we're on your side. Please help us."
Oh, okay.
That's how I took it. Anyway.
Because the way it sounded like a big reveal kind of scene. I'm just saying it sounded like that. Like it sounded like a, by the way, actually.
I think they were just like trying to be on her good side kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, we'd love to help you out. We love your father's work. That kind of thing.
Yes, I see what you're saying. But yeah, it was it just like when they got smarter, I liked it up until that point. I was like, wait, what? Also, very sad that she had to stay back, but like at that point, it was kind of just like, wait, are you fucking serious? Like, I don't know. Did they really think that there was going to be a sequel? And then of course she appeared again. I know, but like, I assume they just wanted to be like a cute tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, there'll be more adventures with them. But like, I don't think they actually thought. At least I hope they didn't. Oh, this is definitely going to get a fucking sequel.
I really think they were going to shoot for a second movie.
That's funny to me. I know that it's Super Mario Brothers. I get it. But just like, my God. Like, I just get sad when movies are just like, oh, no, we're getting a sequel. Don't you fucking worry. It's like, I don't have to worry because I really don't.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's something interesting? I mentioned when the movie came out, I'd actually mentioned its box office numbers because, oh, God. I don't know if I should. Its budget was $48 million.
Right.
Guess how much it brought in?
I feel like you're saying this like it got more than it should have, so probably more.
Oh, I wish I did, dude. The budget was $48 million. The box office was $20.9 million. It made less than half of its budget.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit. And it's funny. I know some might say, no, but it made $20 million. I guess maybe we're thinking of our, like, current day, like, you know, everything makes, like, a fuckload of money. But still, like, still feel like this is a movie that could have made it. Like, I know $20 million sounds like a lot, but, like, I don't know, maybe just me. I feel like...
Well, I feel like you at least, when you make a movie and you put a lot of money into it, you would, like, at the very least, you want to break even with what you put into it.
No, yeah. And they probably wouldn't have, you know, made another one even if they broke even. But still, like, it's just crazy to me that they made that little. Because right now I'm trying to look at how much the Ninja Turtles movie made. And I know the first one made a gross amount, but still I want to check just to be sure. And the first movie came out in 1990. And the first movie, Ninja Turtles-wise, come on, Internet, you can load. You're an Internet. Internet, I'm doing this live, Internet.
I mean,
okay,
why are you
time.
so surprised that it did so abysmally, Matt? You know, it's, you know, a bad adaptation, so of course it did bad, right?
No, that's not. Remember something. We can sit here and be like, that movie was terrible, and it can do really well. Evolution did somewhat well in Japan.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean, I
like,
can't even complain about that because, well, I mean, I contributed to it while it was here in America. I regret it. That's the worst fucking.
I mean, look at this, right?
$10
the budget for Evolution.
It was more than that, but like, yeah.
The budget for Evolution was $30 million, and the box office was $57.5 million.
God,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah. No, it does. I hate that it makes sense, but it does.
You're like, I fucking hate that it does. Yeah. No, well, actually, the budget was a lot smaller. Budget was $13.5 million for the first movie. Then the second one was $25 million, and then the third was $21 million. Okay, so I guess maybe they just saved there. But even then, each movie. No, because here's the thing, right? The budget for the first Ninja Turtles movie was $13.5 million. The box office was $201.9 million. Fucking all the way to the bank. And funny enough, myself and Anthony Sanandris, you know, I mentioned he hasn't been on for a while with us, sadly. We actually did the first two Ninja Turtles movies, you know, in one of our Friday Night Movies podcasts. So anyway, it was just, I don't know. So I'll be fair. Yes, even the second movie, you know, Ninja Turtles, budget was $25 million. They made $78.6 million, and then the third one was $21 million, and even then they made $42.2 million. Even then, when it was like, it still made that much. So I guess, I guess, you know, because the Wikipedia says, oh, because of the high budget, that's why it didn't do well, and I just didn't believe it for a second. But I guess I kind of have to believe it because had they been at $13 million, it still would have done something, you know? Even if we were going to complain about it, if the budget was, you know, $13 million, at $20.9 million, that's still something. And here's the thing too, right? The reason why I say the budget may have been that much lower is because if they had to stay 17 weeks when they were supposed to stay 6 weeks, you have to pay for these actors staying on location, either for some of these actors paying for their trailers or some people having to pay for like hotel rooms or things like that. So having these people or, you know, just being, or paying to rent out and film at the location. So all that stuff, I'm sure, added up a lot. And they had to film both in New York City and North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I have to admit, the production costs may have been a lot higher than it should have been. Now, again, I can't confirm how much it would have, less it would have been, but yes, it was a bad movie, but again, we've sat here and we've seen how a bad movie, or a bad adaptation rather, right? We sit here and be like, that's not a good adaptation, that shouldn't do well, does very well, or at least does well enough that we're like, and mind you, the first Ninja Turtles movie was amazing. Second and third one, not so much, and then I think the box office numbers reflected that, but it still did better than its budget.
Right.
So it's extremely interesting to me that in an age where, because nowadays, if a movie is like, $50 million, right? $50 million budget, and it doesn't make that much back, or even like $100 million budget, it makes sense. If it's a shit movie, we all spread the word around. Yeah. Even if it's like based a popular adaptation, if the Assassin's Creed movie is shit, if it is, it hasn't come out yet, and I honestly don't even know enough about the series. We've played the game on one of our Let's Plays. Those guys play, myself and also Anthony San Andres, funny enough. But still, I don't know enough to say that's going to be shit. But if it is, I do think that we'll tell each other, and it won't become an extremely high-grossing movie. But it still may, because that's what happens when you have adaptations like that. People go to see it, and regardless if they like it or not, they go to see it, and then it happens. So it's crazy that this movie didn't do well. Well, shit, Tristan.
I mean,
well, shit.
I feel like, and this is 93, so, we're well into Nintendo 64 and other, PlayStation, other systems. Like, gaming is...
we're not. No. We're not. No, 93, we didn't have the PlayStation yet, nor do we have I don't think we even had the N64. I'll confirm that right now, though, but I'm pretty sure we did not.
Oh, maybe it was... Well, because I know... Okay, maybe it wasn't out yet, but I could have... I know it was out, I know the end of Nintendo 64 was 2000, 99, 2000.
Yeah, so, late 2000.
So,
okay,
we're probably still in the Super Nintendo then.
Yes, we are, because N64 came out in 96, and PlayStation 1 also came out in 96. The point is, though, is that your point, though, was that, games existed, right? Like, games existed, and, and what was your point after that?
Well, I was gonna say that maybe nowadays, they're trying, not to say that there are a lot of them still, but they're trying to make more game movies because gaming has kind of been around to stay. Whereas at that point, I guess people would still consider it more of a passing fad, maybe.
Well, no, I'm thinking more. I mean, here's the thing: we've had adaptations of any little thing. If it's popular enough, it'll get an adaptation, and this is why this got an adaptation because of how fucking popular it was.
Right.
We've had bad adaptations of things for years. This isn't the only one, and it won't be the last.
I'm just thinking of it as being like we said before, like a movie based on a game. Maybe it just wasn't popular enough with enough people to be like, this is coming out, we should see it. Whether it's, hopefully it is good, but whether it's good or not, we're going to see if it is anyway, like it is today.
I mean, I'm just thinking maybe word of mouth spread better than I thought.
Yeah, that's true too, maybe. Nowadays, word of mouth just spreads better.
Mhm. Because this came out in 1993. Nintendo had been around since the 80s, at least the video game consoles and stuff. So, you would think that more people would have jumped to go see it. But they may have just heard how much of a shit show it was from God knows who, God knows where. And so they're sitting around no. Because, also to be fair, there were animated shows for it. I don't know if they were as popular as, I guess, because Ninja Turtles were fucking blew up, to be fair.
Yeah.
In terms of an animated show. And also, you had people young and old alike. But here, you may have had the older people not going to see it. Maybe the younger people weren't able to see it either. Or, again, we're told it was terrible. And it just only made $20 million. Again, $20 million is nothing to scoff at, though, to be fair.
Right.
Right? But, it's just crazy to think about that. It made $20 million. Its budget was more than that, basically more than half of that. And other series around the time, even though we're only looking at Ninja Turtles, did very, very well.
Yeah.
But even then, though, to be fair, '93 was when the third Ninja Turtles movie came out, and that got little over half. To be fair. So even at that point, maybe this wasn't a good, in a weird way, they sort of did wait. Yeah, maybe they should have waited longer, or should have even been, done it sooner. Because remember, this movie was delayed. To be fair, it was delayed. So I do wonder if that didn't help. But but yeah, it's crazy to think about. Yeah. So is there anything you want to say before we wrap everything up?
I did want to say I kind of liked, I don't know, I'm kind of weird with goodbyes. With how, like you said, they have to be separated. It's it's the end of the movie. Isn't it supposed to be feel good? The two people that like each other get together kind of thing. That's always kind of a given. You don't want to end on a sad note. You don't want to end a movie on a sad note. Or any kind of story on a sad note like that. And it's even if it is corny, they get together and happy-go-lucky and, everything's great now. It's but everyone kind of expects that. And in a way, you do still kind of want that because you want that feel-good, theme at the end of the movie. But I did like how it was kind of no, they do kind of have to say goodbye. I'm weird in that way. I kind of like sad goodbyes. I don't know. But I was happy that the next time, granted it's only a few weeks later and it's a little weird because it's so soon, but Daisy, she knocks, but I imagine, she kicks down the door and is in battle garb, and it's well, you pulled a 180. It's now you get to see Daisy be a badass. It's okay. I mean, granted, we never did because it never happened, but yeah.
Yeah, would have been nice for a fucking sequel. That would have been a nice sequel, to be fair. Yeah.
And I love that, Luigi's Mari, he goes, oh, what's the matter? And she's you're never going to believe this. And Mario picks up his stuff and he's oh, I believe. It's I've seen enough shit already. I believe. Let's go.
Yeah. My God.
And,
so,
title drop. Super Mario Bros. We can handle anything. No leak is too small.
Oh man, it was an interesting ride. Right, I saw an interesting film. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, I've already told you what I felt at this show, and I don't know. I mean, I can't say this is a good movie. It just isn't a terrible, worst thing ever, burn it all to the ground movie. And I really do think that I would show this to kids.
You had said that you don't like it as an adaptation. You think it's an okay movie.
Yeah, and it's a good family movie. I really think you can get a family together and watch this. That's my take on it.
Okay.
So
I can live with that, I guess.
Okay. And I can live with you liking it. So anyway, I just want to say thank you all for listening in, as always. I love you, Tristan. I want to say thank you all for listening in, as always. And just going to mention that, if you want to listen to more of our shows, well, I'm hoping you're listening to us through our Blog Talk Radio account, Those Guys on the Radio. But you can also listen to us through our YouTube channel, Those Guys on the Radio, to listen to our old backlog shows. You can listen to us through our iTunes, Those Guys, by searching up Those Guys, or you could actually learn about new shows and older shows, which will be updated through, you'll get those updates through our main website, which is thoseguysontheradio.tumblr.com. You can also get it through our Facebook, which is /ThoseGuysOnTheRadio, our Twitter, which is @ThoseGuysRadio, and our Instagram, which is /ThoseGuysOnTheRadio. I mentioned our Let's Plays earlier. You can actually find those on our YouTube channel, Those Guys Play, so search that up on YouTube. And you can actually find our merchandise on our website, which is thoseguysontheradio.tumblr.com/merchandise, and our eBay, which is Those Guys. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, it's Those Guys Radio. You can find T-shirts and posters and so much more on both, and it's pretty cool because you can see, you can get shirts and T-shirts and all that stuff based on stuff that we've played, or based on some stuff I've said on the show, or other podcasts that we've done. So definitely check that out. And you can go to our Patreon if you want to throw some dollars at us. You can either bring it directly to our PayPal by looking at our email, which is thoseguysintheradio@gmail.com, or you can do it through our Patreon. If you do it through our Patreon, we actually give you a lot of cool, interesting goodies and stuff like that. Depending on what tier you actually donate to, you can actually donate to tiers to say, hey, we would prefer that you guys do a specific podcast or you guys do a specific Let's Play. Or you can, depending on tier you donate to, we can actually give you a shout-out on the show as if you are a sponsor, because you will be a sponsor for either our Let's Plays or our podcasts. And we'll discuss, and different ways to give you a nice little shout-out on the show. So that's a heck of a lot of fun. I hope you feel like it's a lot of fun, because I think it is. And, yeah, that's that. And I think we're done here, Tristan. We did it. We talked about the Super Mario Brothers movie. Yeah.
That's a goal.
I don't know how. But thank you all.
It's okay, Matt.
We're at the end. So
I know you secretly like it inside.
Yeah, there were parts I really did. Yeah. All right. So thank you all for listening in, as always, and say good night, Tristan.
Good night, everyone.
Yahoo!